Good morning, fellow traders. Spelled here. It's time for the Good Morning Market Prep for Thursday, April 23rd, 2020. I hope everybody had a great night last night. This is brought to you by Positive Trends Research, and everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice, so please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome. All right, let's check and see where we left off at the market yesterday. So here's the SPX, the S&P cash here. So we're over the 50 monthly moving average, rejected the mid-Bollinger Band here on the monthly, but we are above the cloud and still a green month in April. Have a little bit of month to go, right, with more earnings coming up into the end of the month. So we got about one trading week left, and then we'll see where that takes us. Speaking of weekly charts, here we are on the weekly. As you can see, we've had a nice move up here off of the bullish engulfing candle once RSI was oversold, right? And we worked our way up here. We had a nice hammer yesterday that was kind of making its way into this weekly gap, but came back a little bit, held the lows from the other day, and then worked its way back up. So where does that put us? So that puts us right back at the upward trend line right here. We're still below it. So a little bit of concern right here as we approach the 50 moving average, the cloud, and the bottom of the trend line. So this is definitely a key area here where we want to see this. We want to see a breakout move right here. Otherwise, we might see some chop action, even more of a pullback. And of course, we have these open gaps below. Let's take a look at the SPY going into today. Okay, SPY again, same situation, spinning top here right at the cloud, the 50 moving average below the trend line. Let's take a look and see how it's behaving pre-market here, and then we'll take a look at the futures. Okay, so right now, right, SPY is just kind of drifting sideways right here. Basically, what we're waiting for are the job numbers here this morning to see how that is going to affect things. Now, recently we've had, a slew of big unemployment numbers, and chances are, I think they're anticipating over 4 million again this time. So every time as it's worse than expected, the market has gone up, strangely. So we'll see what happens today. Maybe it'll be better than expected, and the market will go down. So here's the S&P futures right here. So as you can see, we're kind of chopping around here. We had quite a kind of a boring night last night, right? We worked our way down a little bit, came back up over the trend lines, right? And we're basically in this bigger triangle pattern right here. We could even go way back here, right? And just kind of tag that, right? We can kind of see, this type of action here. But let's grab this right here and see what happens right into the open today. So big macro triangle right here, getting really tight. We've been kind of range bound here over the night. Really choppy day yesterday as we came back and tested that macro. See this green line right here, that macro trend line. So we'll see how that goes into today. Let's see if we can get a break out or down move one way or the other after this unemployment numbers come out this morning. So same thing with the MES. Let's take a look at oil. Okay, so oil actually recovered a little bit last night and into today. So pretty good stuff there. Recent low 6.5 on this month's expiration. So let's see how that holds going into today. Really, it seems like we have a little bit of stuff going on in Iran, right? So a little Middle East tension there can help threaten supply a little bit, right? So to try to drive those prices up. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. I know that from what they say, like they're trying to help stabilize these numbers overseas, but with OPEC, we'll see how that goes. Let's take a look at USO. This one's been tricky, right? This thing's been halted a lot and then unhalted, so it's been a pretty tricky one here. It's a little bit flat going in from yesterday, so I'd just be careful with this one. It's only up 3 cents right here. Again, really the key thing with USO is, right, it's got to at least get over some trend lines, right? So I mean, even this micro trend line right here. Let's at least see if we get above that. We did an inside day yesterday. See if we could break above that and show some sort of interest in getting higher. Let's take a look at the Qs. The NASDAQ ETF, much better than the SPY, right? So this has been leading the way. Right? We've seen like some red days, Amazon green, Netflix green, things like that. Netflix was down, of course, a little bit yesterday after earnings. But here, this is at least above the trend line and above the cloud. So maybe, just maybe, this is kind of a leading indicator of what's going to happen with the market, right? So working its way up here over its ADME, over the 50, over the cloud, over the trend line. So the Qs are bullish until proven otherwise. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple actually had a downgrade this morning. Not so sure how much it's going to affect. I mean, how many downgrades can this one get before they're ready to buy the dip on it, right? So, but basically down just a few ticks here pre-market, and let's see, it's holding the this 274 level pretty nicely going into today. So let's see how that holds up into the open. Let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla's down a little bit here, just kind of drifted down a bit last night, but it seems to be working its way up pre-market here. So let's see if that gets some strength. Had a pretty good day yesterday, big inside day. It held the cloud and the 8 moving average on that one. Some earnings going in today. We've got DPZ, Domino's. So it had a real nice candle with some good volume yesterday, and looks like they're doing pretty well here pre-market. So they already hit 400 there pre-market. So nice on DPZ. LRCX. The semis have been getting hit a lot recently, so we'll see how this one goes into today. They had earnings yesterday. It's really, really choppy just from last night, so let's see if that gets any action today, maybe on a 15 orb. Darden Group, the Darden Restaurants got an upgrade this morning, so we saw a few high ticks here this morning. We'll see if that gets any action on that one today. It's been a tough one to trade, but a couple restaurants have been upgraded today, I guess, thinking that things are going to start to get better sooner. And Gap actually got, I believe it got, I think it might have got, I thought it got upgraded, but let's see what it says here this morning. Suspended payments, Morgan Stanley. Okay, so they upgraded, but they're down, and I guess after they got upgraded, they basically are now coming out and saying furloughing stores. So I guess Morgan Stanley was jumped the gun on that one. Anyway, it's down a little bit here pre-market, so keep an eye on that one. It might be in play. And I believe BIIB got a downgrade too, so keep an eye on this one. It's ticking down a little bit pre-market. Let's see how it's looking here. It had a rough day yesterday. So again, below today's lows or below yesterday's lows, could see more downside action. So just a couple things to look at there. Big thing is the unemployment number this morning, coming out at 8:30 Eastern, and so we'll see how that affects things going into the rest of the day. And other than that, I hope everybody has a great trading day today. We'll see you guys at the lunchtime market update. Stay healthy out there, and remember your risk first, and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys soon.